Hi, it's Jane Mason here from Virtuous Bread, and welcome to this video which accompanies my new book called Mexico, the World Vegetarian. And this series of videos, there are not that many of them, but what they do is they cover the real basics in Mexican cooking. So they're really intended to be a bit of an aid for you as you cook your way through the book. Now, this video looks at tortillas. And tortillas are a real basic staple of the Mexican diet, as bread or rice or potatoes are to other cuisines in other parts of the world. Now, tortillas in Mexico can be made either of wheat or of corn, okay? And when it comes to corn, corn comes actually in different colors. So there can be blue corn tortillas, yellow corn tortillas, white corn tortillas. And today I happen to have with me a blue corn tortilla. I'm going to show you what to do with that. And I have a wheat tortilla, a little bite taken out of it there. Don't worry about that. So these are both tortillas. Wheat tends to be eaten more commonly in the north of the country, and corn is definitely eaten more commonly in the south of the country. Now, the important thing to know about tortillas is you can make them at home, and in the book there are recipes for both of them. It's really straightforward to make wheat tortillas, so if you don't have a source of good wheat tortillas, you may want to consider making them yourself. Corn tortillas are not easy to make from scratch, okay? And that's made very, very clear in the book. However, you can get pretty decent quality already ground corn. And my favorite brand is actually Bob's Red Mill at the moment, which you can order online. And you can get in some stores, and they have what's called a nixtamalized corn for making tortillas. And that's really important because when the corn is nixtamalized, what that means is it's soaked in a high alkali solution before it's ground, and that makes the corn much more easy to digest. So that's kind of thing number one. Thing number two is these tortillas, they go towards making lots of different things. Okay, you make tacos, you make enchiladas, you make enfrijoladas, you make quesadillas. You can dry roast them until they're dry like crackers and make tostadas. You can cut them into little, pieces, wedges of the pie to make nacho chips. Okay, and with the nacho chips, you can use them for dip, or you can use them to make, for example, chilaquiles. So look, the tortilla goes in lots of different directions, but it's really important that you know what to do with them, either once you make them from scratch or once you buy them. And the most important thing to understand is, especially this wheat tortilla is not cooked. Okay, it's raw. No matter what you do, no matter when you buy them, they're raw. They are wheat flour, water, maybe a bit of salt, maybe a bit of oil, and that's it. So they have to be cooked. Or else you're going to get a really bad tummy ache when you digest them. And the other thing is, if you try and fold this around something to make a taco or to make an enchilada or to make a quesadilla, it's going to break in half, okay? So it needs to be cooked, and at the very least, it needs to be softened so that you can fold it around whatever it is that you're eating. That's wheat. Corn. Now, if you buy the kind of ground up corn in a bag, and you mix it with water and you press it and you make tortillas, then they are cooked, right? Once you've made them. Clearly when you just press them in your tortilla press, it has to be cooked in some way. If you buy them in a bag in the supermarket or at the tortilleria here in Mexico, they're cooked, but once again, they need to be warmed and softened, or else A, they're unpleasant, B, they don't taste like anything, and C, they'll break as you fold them around the food. And some of you may have been to Mexican restaurants where that happens. Like you get these tortillas that are folded around food to make a taco, and they're breaking, and they're cold, and they're unpleasant. And that's because the chef doesn't know the basic thing about working with tortillas is they must be softened. So I'm going to show you how to do that now. And the first thing to see, I'm going to light my stove here with a handy match because it's a gas stove. So let me just do that, okay? And in Mexico, we use something called a comal. Here it is here, okay? Very thin piece of metal, can be round, can be square. A comal can also be made of clay, very heavy, okay? Retains heat better, but very heavy. This piece of metal heats up super, super, super fast on the stove. So it's great. And we use a comal for dry roasting vegetables, dry roasting seeds and spices, and softening tortillas. Now, if you don't have a comal, don't worry about it. You can use a frying pan. The key thing here is there's no oil in the pan. And you have to get the pan very, very, very hot. So, oops, let me just turn you to look down, okay? There is my comal and my kettle, which I might just move out of the way. And in fact, I might bring my comal a little bit closer to you rather than bringing you closer to my comal. Okay, so you want to get the comal or the frying pan very hot, and you want to, I'm going to do this one at a time, and you want to put the tortilla down, and all you're going to do is flip it over, and you flip it until it's soft. Now, there is a magical point, and if you leave it on the comal for too long, it gets dry, and it won't fold because it will no longer be flexible. Now remember, this tortilla is cooked. So, because I bought it at the store, I didn't make it at home. So all I'm looking to do is soften it so that I can fold it easily. And now I can, okay? And you can also see the steam coming off it. I'm gonna put that one here, and what I can do now, if I want, for example, is I can make enchiladas out of that, or I can stack them up and put them in a basket, and I can cover them in a cloth to keep them nice and warm and serve them with a meal. I can make tacos out of them, all sorts of things. Or what I'm doing here is making a quesadilla, which is a half-moon shaped snack made out of a tortilla. It does not need to have cheese. And okay, I'm gonna just move that over to the side. In this case, it happens to have cheese. It could have mushrooms, could have anything. Now, the wheat tortilla, this is raw, so it needs to cook. It's gonna take longer. This one, see the cheese is beginning to melt. You just wanna melt the cheese, soften and melt the cheese. Now, the wheat one, it's gonna take longer, and you'll see here, it begins to get little brown spots on it where it cooks. Once again, you're looking for it to soften so you can fold it around something, or you can stack it up, put it in a basket, keep them warm, and serve them with a meal. And you definitely want to cook this wheat one. A lot of people, it's really popular now to have wraps outside of Mexico. It's not a thing in Mexico, and I frequently feel that the thing that's wrapped around the wrap is just raw tasting and unpleasant. And I do wonder if it's made of something that should have been cooked, like a wheat tortilla. So you see it now, this wheat tortilla, it's getting little brown spots on it, it's getting bubbles in it, it's opening up, which means it is cooked. Okay, and just once again, I'm gonna make a quesadilla out of this to show you. I happen to have cheese. They don't have to have cheese. They can have mushrooms or spinach or whatever you want, and hot. You flip it over to melt the cheese. Here's the corn one again with all that delicious melty cheese. Pop a salsa in there and that will be delicious. And with this wheat one, again, it's cooked. All you need to do is keep flipping it over in order to melt the cheese that's inside. So that is the end of this little video to accompany my new book, Mexico, the World Vegetarian. Woo! Losing you here, sorry about that. And this one was about making tortillas, whether they're corn or they're wheat. You really, really, really want to soften them. And in the case of wheat tortillas, actually cook them in a dry frying pan or a comal so that they are nutritious, delicious, and you can fold them around food without breaking them. Okay, bye for now. I look forward to seeing you on some of the other videos that accompany the book.